Hello everyone, this is Shalu Kumar again from ONTC. I'm an experienced OSCE nurse trainer for the NMC OSCE exam in UK and also the lead trainer for OSCE nurse training Cambridge. So I am back with another NMC adult NMC OSCE topics for you in today's video. So if you like my videos, please press the like button now and subscribe to my channel and keep those comments coming. They give me a lot of positivity and motivation to keep doing these videos for you, okay, so you can revise your OSCE exam and hopefully pass it first time, right? Okay, so in today's video I'm going to give you my top 10 tips on implementation station, okay, because obviously this is a quite common station to fail in your exam, so I want to make sure that you don't make those mistakes. So I'm going to give you top 10 reasons which people fail, so they will be my top 10 tips. Okay, so I'm going to go through them today. So if you haven't watched my other implementation videos, please go ahead and watch those. I've done a general implementation video on the then there is another one on the community drug chart, and then there is another one on the emission codes for implementation. So please go ahead and watch those three first. I have added the links of those videos to the description of this video below. Okay, so let's talk about today's video, which is the top 10 tips for implementation. Like I said, watch those videos before, then this video will make more sense for you. So top 10 tips for implementation. The first one is, as you can see on your screen, read prescription validity in full. So this is a very common fail in your exam. It means if you do not check the validity of and legibility of the prescription clearly and verbalize it, your examiner can fail you, because this is a point in your marking criteria. So make sure you check the validity completely. So I will give you an example. Say for example, so you have your prescribed drug on the drug chart, as you can see on your screen. So how will you read the validity? So I will read it as this. Drug is paracetamol, that's for pain. Date is today, dose is 1 gram, frequency is 4 to 6 hourly, route is oral, duration is 7 days, start date today, finish date plus 7 days, prescribed by Albate 156789. If there were any instructions or indication, I will read that, and then the signature of the person is Albate, the print name is Albate as well. So this is obviously a complete valid prescription, okay. So that's how you need to do it. And once I've read the validity, now I can go and see if it's due at my time or not. Why is that? Because if I just only worrying about whether it's due at my time or not, I go and look at my time and I decide to give the medication and I don't check the full validity of the prescription first, then it's a critical fail. Okay, so don't get tempted to look at the times first. Just look at the whole validity like I have shown you to read it. Once you've read everything and said this a valid legible prescription, then go ahead and look at your time, whether it is your time to give or not, and then decide whether you're going to give it or not give it. Okay, so that's what you need to do. So that's tip number 1, very common fail, not checking the validity and legibility. Next one tip is ask for the recent and relevant vital signs if required. So for example, you can see on your screen there is Ramipril there. So if it is due at my time, then I definitely need to ask the examiner for recent blood pressure reading. Okay, if I decide to give this drug without asking the recent blood pressure reading, then it's a critical fail. Why? Because in practice, in clinical practice, if you're giving antihypertensive, we would look at patient recent blood pressure reading before we give it. And if your examiner says it's low, then don't give. If they say it's normal, then go ahead and give that medication. So it's just a principle of it. So make sure, you know, antihypertensive, diuretics, you are asking for blood pressure. If you're giving any antiarrhythmic drugs, then you are asking for heart rate. So it's really, really, really important that you are asking for those things before you decide to give that medication. Okay, so tip number 3, which is keep allergies in mind at all times. So if you're going to give a drug and it's due at your time, first thing you should be thinking in your head is my patient allergic to this drug? Okay, because it's really important. You're in exam situation, you're a bit stressed out, so you may easily forget. So you need to kind of think in your head, oh, is my patient allergic to this drug before I decide to dispense it, okay, or decide to even give this to my patient. So that's really important. Like you can see on your screen, this patient is written for amoxicillin, and of course this patient is allergic to penicillin. So I am definitely not gonna give this drug, because obviously amoxicillin has penicillin in it. So that's the principle of it, okay. So allergies are really important and very big reason of fail in your exam for implementation station. Okay, so next top tip is check for stat doses already given. So that's really important, because you may come across, for example, you can see on your screen paracetamol is written for regular drug, and also as you can see paracetamol has been already given to that patient at 4 o'clock this morning as a stat dose. So of course if my due time is 6 o'clock and paracetamol already has been given at 4 o'clock, of course I'm not gonna go ahead and give that paracetamol, because I will be overdosing my patient. So that's the another thing. You have to be very careful when you're reading your regular drugs. Make sure you're aware of the stat doses. If you don't remember it when you read it earlier on, go back and check on that page, which is towards the beginning of the drug chart. Check it and make sure you know what was the stat given dose, okay, so you do not overdose your patient. So that's really important. In this case I'm not going to give paracetamol at 6 o'clock because patient already had a stat dose, so I will be omitting it using the correct omission code. Next one is tip number 5, which is dispense correctly. Now when you dispense your drugs, make sure you verbalizing everything very clearly, okay, because examiner is quite far away from you and they can't physically see in very much detail what you're dispensing. So they need to rely on your verbalization, that you're checking everything. So you need to clearly say the drug name, the dose, the expiry date, and then you're going to say this is my stock dose and this is my prescribed dose. Check against your drug chart and clearly say how many tablets you are dispensing. So that's really important way, and try to do it with that technique, okay, and verbalize everything clearly and dispense everything accurately, okay, because how many times I see people fail in exam because they don't say how many tablets they're dispensing, or they've forgotten to say the expiry date. They're checking it in their head but they're not saying it. If you don't say, examiner doesn't know you have checked it. They can't read your mind, okay, so you might be checking it, might be reading in your mind, in your own head, but that's not good enough. You need to verbalize it, okay. If you don't verbalize it, examiner take it that you haven't checked it. So that's really important point, that you dispense correctly and verbalize everything correctly while you're dispensing. Tip number 6. So now we're going to come to the documentation, which is really important part and very common fail for your implementation station. So documentation is really important. So number 6 is complete documentation for omitted drugs accurately. So if you decide to omit a drug, okay, as you're reading through your drug chart, it's due at your time, but for whatever reason you have decided to omit that drug, then document for it straight away, okay. Don't leave it to end, you will forget, okay. So document it straight away, put your omission code and put your signature and date. As you can see on the screen, patient is allergic to amoxicillin. I'm not going to give, so I'm showing you on the screen that I have used the correct code, I have put my signature and I have put my date in. So that's how I will complete the documentation for a omitted drug. But it has to be listed at the back of the chart as well. So all omitted drugs, I mean any drug you omit, doesn't matter what code you use, any drug you omit has to be added to the back page of your chart, which you can see on the screen. So I have put the date, the drug augmentin, dose 500 milligram, route oral, no instructions, time I have not given it, so I won't put the time, and then I write in words what's the reason, not the code, but write in words what's the reason, allergic to penicillin, and my signature. So if there was another omitted drug, I will just keep adding them at the back of the chart. So that's how you need to complete omission codes and documentation for the omitted drugs. Number 7 now, top tip, sign for given drugs only after giving. That's the first thing. So do not sign for the drugs you're going to give before administration. That would be a critical fail, okay? So make sure you're signing for drugs after giving the drugs, and also you're signing and documenting it accurately. So how, just for example, let's say we have given this drug here on your screen, metronidazole. So I've gave it at 6 o'clock. I go in front of that box. Under today, I write my name, I put my signature in, I put date in. So it's very clear that I have given it at 6 o'clock today at this time and my signature. So you can see that you need to do it accurately. Okay, so that's for the given drugs, and make sure that you do it accurately. Number 8 is, don't forget to complete documentation on page 2 of the chart. So on the page 2, it asks you that all administrator must complete the signature record. Okay, so this is to just say that you have used that drug chart. Okay, so it's like kind of a log for all the administrators. So you need to sign that log box. Okay, so you will going to put your name, initial, signature, and the base. Okay, so as you can see on there, and base is where your patient is based. Okay, so that's what you will add that there. And then tip number, now we coming to 9, is that refresh your drug knowledge. Okay, it's really important that you read about your drugs widely and you have a good knowledge of the common drugs used in UK, because if you don't, then you will struggle in your exam. And if you do have a little struggle in your exam and you don't know, don't give wrong indication, just check the BNF. So you can download the BNF app for free on your phones or your PCs, and you can actually practice it now before you go into exam, how to use BNF. Okay, so you can download the app and practice your drugs. Okay, it has, BNF is British National Formulary. It has every drug which is used in UK, give you indication, contraindication, side effects, everything. So it's a really good resource for free you can use to revise for your drugs. Now last tip number 10, which is really important, because lots of people fail this exam because they run out of time. So make sure you're doing a lot of practice with different drug charts, different scenarios, and you put the timer on. Okay, 15 minutes is for this station, and you put the timer on and you practice with timer good few times before you get into real exam, so you can be confident that you can manage your time really well. So those were my top tips for implementation station. I hope you like this video. So if you do, please press the like button now and subscribe to my channel. You can also visit us on OSCEnursetraining.com, and also can email us for further details about our training, which can be online and face-to-face, and just the modules you want to revise and learn on OSCEnursetraining@outlook.com, which is our email address. And then I will soon be back with another video for you. So give us an email if you want more information, and I will soon see you for another video for your adult NMC OSCE exam. Thanks for now, and bye for now.